She shall bear wisdom in her voiceless bosom. Strength shall be with her like a conqueror's sword. Nobody can defeat her in the battle. Even if it is the god of death who is going to stand in front of her, he will be helpless. He will have to accept her superiority, her power. And from her eyes, the eternal bliss shall gaze. Now, this is something she is adding further to what he had asked for. A she shall be so in death's tremendous hour. Death's tremendous hour. When will this happen? When will the gates of fate will be unlocked? The gates of fate be unlocked in death's tremendous hour. In death's tremendous hour, the gates of fate will be unlocked. The divine event will take place, make further when death is present there. So, in that sense, death is playing a very crucial part, a pivotal part, a significant part, in a way, a necessary part also. Death is not there for nothing, it is there to help in a certain way. And if you conquer death, then you are the master of everything, you see. Now, death's tremendous hour, he has not told when that tremendous hour is going to arrive. Yes, it will happen. She has told Ashok, so Ashwapati is keeping kind of hanging, anxious when that tremendous hour is going to arrive, you see, in that sense, you see. But they are already told about this tremendous hour in a way right in the beginning of the poem. The last line of Canto 1, the Simple Dawn. This was the day when Satyavan must die. That is the last line of the Canto 1. This was the day when Satyavan must die. Satyavan must die. It is that must refers to the tremendous hour of death. Satyavan's death is connected to that tremendous hour of death. He has to die, must die. He has to die. Unless he dies, things cannot move forward. Because if Savitri has to meet death, then somebody has to die so that through that she can approach death. See, it is not a kind of a battle from one world to the other world. It is face to face. Savitri has to see face to face death. Face to face, and that can happen when somebody very intimate, very loving of her dies and she is in a position to meet death. So, death of Satyavan is a must so that death will appear there in front of her and she can then counter him in front of them. That is the tremendous hour of death which has to happen here. A seed shall be sown. So when Satyavan dies, then the seed will be sown and the tree of heaven will start sprouting up. A branch of heaven. He says branch of heaven. There is not the tree of heaven. Tree is too big for earth. Branch is enough for this little poor mortal world. If a branch comes, it's enough. It will grow. It has its own DNA, and then that DNA will do all the work which is necessary to be done here. You don't have to bring, but at the same time, there is a seed also, so there is no question of that. A branch of heaven transplant to human soil. Branch of heaven, it means out of the infinite possibilities that are present in the spirit, in the transcendent, in the divine. It is a certain aspect of those possibilities which will come here upon earth. Not all the possibilities will come here. That may happen later on. But the immediate thing is the necessary possibility. What are those necessary possibilities which will come into play in this tremendous hour of death? The possibilities are the possibilities given to the evolutionary process. Given to the evolutionary. Earth is a center for evolution, for growth, for expansion, of bringing down one by one the possibilities, the divine upon earth. That is why it is a branch. It is a single possibility in the evolutionary process which will proceed, which will progress. It is that which will persist. So when it says branch, yes, all that is required for the evolution to move now from the field of ignorance into the field of knowledge, it is that which will be opened out. The door of faith will be unlocked, means now the evolution is moving into the domain of light and force and beauty and joy of the spirit. Evolution. Once the evolutionary possibility is established upon earth, then possibly those will happen in other places also. Earth is the center where it will begin. Then other stars, other places, the whole galaxy, the whole sky is there and all that. Maybe we don't know about that, but that is too early also to speak. Unless this happens here upon earth, it is pointless to talk about other things also. So a branch of heaven, it is the evolutionary possibility which will be pursued into the domain of knowledge and light and power. In that sense, it is a branch. Transplant to human soil, human, earthly, evolutionary creature. Nature shall overleap her mortal step. She will not be evermore governed by the laws of mortality, but the laws of immortality will come into play, and then fate shall be changed by unchanging will. So the whole thing, all these three are summarized in this one single decisive statement, determinative statement. Now this tremendous hour in the context of the epic, in the context of the text, and yogically, in the occult sense, when is Satyavan going to die? What is it that is going to determine the moment of his death? There has to be a kind of a yogic will to quit the body, to give up the body. And that yogic will determine the tremendous hour. In the context of the autobiographical description, that tremendous hour of death is 5th December 1950, 1:25 a.m. Moment is fixed, everything is fixed. It is a willed death to take things forward. It is that death which will open out the doors of faith. That yogic act of withdrawal, or so to say death, is a tremendous hour when the gates of fate are thrown open, when the divine event can move forward. What is blocking? That block is removed in the tremendous hour of death. Yogically, Sri Aurobindo's giving up the body is in fact not really giving up the body, but establishing in the physical the supramental light and force and making it permanent here, fixing it up here in the earth. In his physical material body itself, he brings down the entire supramental light and force and fixes it up. That becomes the crucial act for unlocking the doors of fate. Then the work is carried forward. She shall do then the rest of the work. But the tremendous hour is fixed there in the yogic act. And it is 5th December 1950 at 1:25 a.m. night. From that moment onward, we see how things really started moving very fast, very rapidly. The mother carrying that work, because now the base is there, everything is there, and things are moving forward quickly, very rapidly. Within 6 years of that event, of the tremendous hour, the supramental light and force entered into the subtle physical of the earth on 29 February 1956. Within 6 years that has happened. It's such a short time in the aeonic history of evolution. It has quickly happened like that, you see. That is the tremendous hour of death. Because yogically, everything was fixed there now. It was only a question of bringing it into operation. It is in a subtle physical. Bring it out into operation now in the gross outer physical. It is that which is going on, you see. Which is going on, you see. When Shivendu withdrew, Mother has described in great detail in the agenda in a number of places, in 2 or 3 places at least. She was standing by the side of his bed and they were looking into each other's eyes for a long time, almost for 20 minutes. Almost for 20, means maybe roughly from 1 o'clock to 1:20 a.m. on 5th December. After that, Shivandu kind of simply said with his eyes, "Yes, you go away now. You go away now." He cannot withdraw from the physical in her presence. Her awful presence is such that it will not allow him to withdraw. So physically she has to move away from that place. And then it happened. She knew what was going to happen. It was an occult necessity for her to go to her room and be away from him physically at that time. But then she says also, at that time, he was constantly passing on all the supramental light and force he had gathered in his body into her. Into her. What we call the mind of light. He passed on to the mother in the death tremendous hour. The death tremendous hour is the yogi passing on the mind of light to the Shakti. And it is the Shakti now who is going to do the work of that, you see. Because the mind of light in him, not perhaps necessary, not sufficient, maybe not so operative. It is the Shakti who has to do it. So he has to pass it on to her so that it can start working, you see, pass it on to her. And then the whole thing started moving very rapidly from that moment on. So that is the death tremendous hour. It was the day when Satyavan must die. 5th December 1950, early morning. The fate shall be changed and unchanging will. Well, their rendezvous is over. She had come all the way from Paris to Matre Mandir. He had gone all the way from the ashram to Matre Mandir. They met there, maybe for an hour or so. She told him, told her, told him, do this, do this, do this, don't bother, etc. He says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go by your advice. You please do what I want you to do. He forces his will on her. She accepts it. She sees the merit in her. Not that she takes it as a defeat, as a contradiction at all, but she wants him to come out with that demand. She does not want to give it off him. She wants him to come out with the demand so that it can be granted with full force. You see, granting is one thing and giving is another thing. You see, She does not want to give. It is kind of a cheap gift. You see, if it is just given like that. You see. But when it is demanded and given, then it has a power and strength. So she allows him to speak out what he wants. He says, yes, 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 unlock the doors of fate. She says, yes, the doors of fate will be unlocked. Finished. Go away now. You see. So the rendezvous is over, and she says, one shall descend, fate shall be changed when unchanging will. So the communique of their meeting, of their colloquium, is this one shall descend and fate shall be changed when it is recorded. They have signed the papers, one copy is with her, one copy is with him. Now time has come for them to go back to their respective places. From Matra Mandir, she has to go back to Paris. From Matra Mandir, he has to go back to the ashram and attend to the respective task. This is what the concluding section of the book is telling us, section 92. You see, the rendezvous is over and they are now separating, parting away. Now, the important thing is first, it is she who becomes unseen. She is not withdrawn, she becomes unseen. She becomes unseen. And afterward, then he comes back to the earth. Now, that was kind of missing in our yesterday's program. She should have first gone away and then Ashwapati come back to the earth, you see. It was kind of a reverse yesterday's program, you see. It's my feeling. He says the poet is now at liberty to describe the whole sequence, the event, the narrative, is carrying on the narrative forward.